"If I perish, I perish." Those were not the words of fear. They were the words of a woman standing at the edge of death, yet choosing destiny anyway. A young queen, a hidden identity, a kingdom on the brink of genocide, and a decision that would either save her people or erase her name from history forever. This is the story of Queen Esther. In the vast Persian Empire under King Xerxes, power ruled everything. One word from the king could elevate a man or end him. Nations bowed, laws could not be reversed, and in this world of absolute authority, a young Jewish girl named Esther was living a life no one expected to matter. She was an orphan, no royal blood, no influence, no platform, just a quiet life raised by her cousin Mordecai, a faithful man who taught her to walk with wisdom in a world that didn't always welcome her people. And yet, something unseen was already moving, because sometimes the people God uses most are the ones the world overlooks first. Then it happened. The queen of Persia, Vashti, was removed. The palace began a search across the empire for a new queen. Young women were gathered from every province, taken from their homes and brought into the palace. And Esther was taken. Not chosen by ambition, not chosen by strategy. She was taken by decree. Just like that, her life changed. One moment she was unknown, the next she was inside the most powerful palace in the world. But there was something she carried into that palace that no one knew. A secret. She was Jewish, and she had been warned by Mordecai not to reveal it. So Esther entered a world of gold, luxury, and silence, hiding the truth of who she was. And here's where things begin to shift. Because the palace was not just beauty and elegance, it was preparation, training, pressure. Every woman was being shaped for one moment, standing before the king. Days turned into months, months into waiting, and Esther stayed quiet, observing, enduring, surviving. But something about her was different. She didn't fight for attention. She didn't chase power. She simply carried grace in silence, and that silence would become her strength. Then came the moment. One by one, the women were brought before King Xerxes, and when Esther stepped forward, something changed. The king saw her. Not just her appearance, not just her presence, something deeper. Favor, the kind that cannot be manufactured. And just like that, Esther was chosen. She became queen. A girl who once had nothing now sat beside the most powerful man in the world. But even as she wore a crown, she was still hiding a truth that could destroy everything. And while Esther sat in silence inside the palace, something dangerous was rising outside it. A man named Haman had been promoted to a high position in the empire. He loved power. He demanded honor. He expected everyone to bow before him. Everyone did, except one man, Mordecai. He refused, not out of pride, not out of rebellion, but out of conviction. And that small refusal changed everything. Because Haman noticed, and when pride is wounded, it doesn't heal easily. It escalates. Haman discovered something else that fueled his anger even more. Mordecai was Jewish. And suddenly, his hatred expanded beyond one man. It became a plan. A decree was crafted, signed with the king, sealed with authority. On a chosen day, every Jewish person across the empire would be destroyed. Men, women, children, erased. And once a Persian decree was written, it could not be undone. Imagine that moment. A people waking up to a death sentence they didn't ask for and cannot escape. And inside the palace, Queen Esther had no idea yet that her own life was included in that decree. Until
Mordecai sent word, and everything shifted. Esther was shaken, because now she understood the truth. Her silence had become dangerous. But there was a problem. No one could approach the king without being summoned, not even the queen. And if she did, without permission, it could mean death. Unless the king extended the golden scepter. And Esther hadn't been called for 30 days. 30 days of uncertainty, 30 days of distance, 30 days between her and the only person who could save her people. Mordecai sent her another message. It wasn't just information. It was pressure. It was truth. It was destiny confronting hesitation.
Do not think that because you are in the palace, you will escape. If you remain silent, relief will come from somewhere else. But who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? That line hit differently, because suddenly Esther wasn't just a queen. She was part of something bigger, but the risk was still real. So she sent her response, and this is where everything changes. Gather all the Jews, fast for me, do not eat or drink for 3 days. I and my attendants will do the same. Then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. That was the moment fear stopped leading and faith took its place. 3 days of silence followed. No food, no water, no certainty, only waiting, only tension, only prayer rising in darkness. And then the 3rd day arrived. Esther dressed in royal robes, but this time it wasn't about beauty, it was about decision. She walked toward the inner court of the palace, step by step, closer, closer, every step carrying the weight of possible death. The guards stood still. The law was clear. She was not summoned. One wrong move, and it was over. And then she stood before the king. Silence. Everything froze. The king looked at her. One moment, one decision, one breath between life and death. And then he extended the golden scepter. She lived, but survival was only the beginning. The king asked her what she wanted. He promised her anything, even up to half the kingdom. But Esther didn't rush, because timing matters when destiny is involved. She invited the king and Haman to a banquet. Haman walked out that day proud. He thought everything was under control. He didn't know he was walking deeper into a trap he could not see. But then he saw Mordecai again, still refusing to bow, and something inside Haman snapped. That night, he ordered a gallows to be built. He planned to end Mordecai the next day. But while man was planning destruction, God was already moving pieces. That same night, the king could not sleep, not by accident, not by coincidence. He ordered the royal records to be read, and there he discovered something forgotten. Mordecai had once saved his life, and nothing had been done to honor him. So the next morning, the king asked Haman a question. What should be done for the man the king wishes to honor? Haman assumed it was him, so he described honor, glory, celebration. And the king said, "Go, do all of that for Mordecai." The reversal began. Haman led the honor parade for the man he hated most. Humiliation was building, and justice was approaching. At the second banquet, everything reached its peak. The king asked Esther again what she wanted. This time, she spoke. If I have found favor with you, spare my life and spare my people." Then she revealed everything: the decree, the destruction, and the man behind it, Haman. Silence fell. The truth was no longer hidden. The king was furious, and in a final reversal, Haman was executed on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. But the story didn't end in revenge. A new decree was written, one that allowed the Jews to defend themselves. What was meant for destruction became survival. What was written for death became deliverance, and a nation lived. Esther did not win with weapons. She won with courage. She didn't fight on a battlefield. She stood in a palace, and she chose to speak when silence would have been easier. Her name is remembered not because she had power, but because she used the moment she was given. And maybe that's the real message here, that destiny doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it arrives as fear. Sometimes it arrives as risk. Sometimes it arrives as a moment where you must decide whether to stay silent or step forward. And now, if this story reminded you that courage can change everything, don't scroll away. Like this video if you want more powerful Bible stories like this. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one, and share this with someone who needs to remember that they might be standing in their own for such a time as this moment. Because just like Esther, sometimes the smallest voice in the right moment can change history.